began on, hold it just a moment, I'm trying to advance it all began on a trip to Brazil. I'll share with you how this has become a large healthcare organization, a nonprofit over the years, and like with everything, we always need additional hands to complete the mission that we have. So let me share with you the story of James Jackson. James Jackson, as a kid, always had a business sense. He wanted to be a millionaire. In fact, he started trading toys in his neighborhood, always making a couple of dollars on each transaction that he made. When he came into adult life, he actually started up a business with his brother and soon became a huge multi-million-dollar empire in ski resorts in Colorado. With this, he actually felt unfulfilled with his life, and he began really a philanthropic route in his life, donating millions of dollars to nonprofits around the world. And this took him on several journeys, including in 1987, he went to Brazil. In an impoverished neighborhood, he met with a doctor who was beginning a healthcare clinic in a rundown house, and they really didn't have much equipment. So it's a huge task. How do you service this community of 350,000 people with really little resources? James went on a trip back to Colorado on a flight. He really thought how he might be able to do that, and that is to leverage small donations of monetary means along with gifts in kind. And soon he was able to collect $250,000 worth of medical supplies and ship it down to this clinic in Brazil. And that was the beginning of Project C.U.R.E, C-U-R-E, which stands for the Commission on Urgent Relief and Equipment. So seeds are planted at that point and they begin to grow. And that's where we are today. In fewer than 35 years, the growth has been remarkable. About $48.8 million in medical goods delivered solely in 2019. Again, year after year, tens of millions of dollars worth of goods. Last year to 45 countries. And up until this point, over the last 30 or so years, 134 countries have been served. And this is mostly through efforts that are grassroots here in the United States, but also some key partners overseas as well. And it really comes through a couple different programs. One is Procure. This is where roughly 400 organizations within the United States, medical facilities, clinics, doctors' offices, or even individuals who have leftover medical supplies unused, obviously, in the original wrapper, who want to donate it to Project C.U.R.E. And they assess the situation as far as the viability of these goods, make sure that they're in good condition. And that's through a volunteer effort that actually collects, they clean, they restore if it's equipment, test to make sure it's in good operating order, make sure that the medical goods are within the expiration guidelines that are set. There are about 25,000 volunteers in the core of Project C.U.R.E, and that's actually where I am. What we do is we work in warehouses throughout the United States. There's 6 major warehouses. One is in Houston. One is actually in your backyard in Woodridge, Illinois, but also in Philadelphia and Phoenix and a couple other places as well. And that is where these people donate hundreds of thousands of hours each year to make sure that the goods are shipped to the right location, they're packaged, they're put on container ships. And about 4 to 5 container ships, 40-foot cargo containers actually go on the ships and go to these distant places. Also, for a smaller amount, there are kits. And kits are those programs that are developed through Stryker in orthopedic goods. So there are drills and saws and bone instruments that are used for orthopedics throughout the world. There's also kits that you can sponsor where it is the size of a large suitcase and can be actually checked into baggage if you're going to a developing area of the world and you want to donate to a community in that place that you're donating. These have to be places outside of the United States, so whether it be Ethiopia or the Philippines or to Ghana in Africa, many places are in need of that. And then finally, our kid kits, and these are small backpacks that are distributed to communities outside of the United States with hygiene, soap, toothpaste, those kind of things, and then a medicine cabinet that's brought into the child's home. Many of these kids go to school 1 hour, 2 hour by walking distance from where they live. So they're actually bringing medicine back to their village. And then lastly, clinics where doctors, nurses, surgeons, and non-healthcare professionals actually go to clinics throughout the world. There were 13 of those last year. And this is not only an opportunity to provide goods and services, but also for local, outside of the United States, healthcare workers to learn from people who are trained within the United States. So we can't do this. The work is heavy. We need help. So what I ask for you tonight is to consider volunteering. You might volunteer for a couple hours at the Woodridge location. It's basically open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You have to go through a short orientation before you do that. Donation, whether it be $25 a month to actually provide up to $6,000 worth of goods that will be delivered in one of these 40-foot containers, or maybe a small donation of $300 that can actually go for that orthopedic that's sponsored by Stryker. And then lastly, try to tell other people about this great organization. You might not be able to volunteer, but they're looking for students, whether they be high school or college, senior citizens who are looking for things to do when they retire. So please join me in my effort with Project C.U.R.E. I'll leave you with the words of a famous American author, educator, and also advisor to Presidents Booker T. Washington, who said, "Those who are the happiest are those who give the most to others." Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.